All right, we are back real early once again on a Thursday. That's because Chad is in Dubai and he is a little bit more than 24 hours away, right? Is that where we are, Chad, before your race?
26 and a half hours.
26 and a half hours away. This must be a record, John, that we were able to get Chad on, and he's we know the butterflies are there.
He's all right. He's been through it a few times.
It never gets easier though. And I'll tell you what, when you come in under the radar as the horse that no one gives a chance to, it's a lot better feeling than when you come in with the target on your back. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Absolutely, it's always better.
So what do you got tomorrow, Chad? So everybody listening can tune in, watching can tune in.
Yeah, we're in the $1 million Maktoum Challenge race. It'll be about 11:25 Eastern Time on YouTube on Maidan Racing. I think it'll be on TVG as well.
YouTube, TVG, 11:25, and that is in the AM Eastern.
AM Eastern Time in New York. It'll be 8:25 or so, 8:15, 8:25.
How about giving everyone the name so they know who they're rooting for? We have some first time.
We're trying to make amends for the Breeders' Cup. We think we know what we did wrong, and we're going to try and correct it. Okay. Jonathan knows my stats first time blinkers are very, very good.
They are superb.
Race number?
6.
Horse number?
6.
Oh.
6.
And then the second one?
What second one?
Oh, I thought you had 2 races. I thought you said you had 2.
No.
Just one? Okay. And the name of the horse?
Clapton.
Oh, this is Clapton. Okay, that's easy. Matter of fact, I think we had did we have somebody? Yeah, we had a couple of comments from our Patreon page. Let's see. Richard Buckler. Look forward to Medine. Is that it? How you pronounce it? Medine? Maidan, just like the way it looks. Okay. Look forward to Maidan on Friday. Let us know what you'd like on the track, Chad. I'm praying for you to get a win in that grade 1, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to jinx your chances, but having a bet on Clapton, I've been looking at Christophe Soumillion's 4 rides on the night. Might just box them up. I love racing at Medan. I'm much more interested with their racing than some of the domestic racing in Europe. That's Richard Buckler.
They changed the schedule over here, so or Saudi Arabia, and also they're
just froze.
So, very much looking forward to the race.
All right, why don't we get on with the show?
No, that's okay. As long as we can hear him, that's fine.
We don't hear him. He froze.
No, I was able to hear him fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, and Belgium. Good luck, Chad. I will be betting on your horse, Al. All right, there you go. So that's from a couple of Patreon members, Richard and Al. We are going to do 3 races from Gulfstream Park on today's show. Big day at Gulfstream Park. Lots of stakes racing. And we have races 10, 12, and 13 that we're going to talk about. We're going to zip through 10, and we're going to go through 12 and 13 a little bit more in depth. But race 10 is a 1.16 miles turf race. It's the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf Invitational Stakes, Grade 2. Purse is $500,000, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. So who do you like in this race, John?
Well, I think Star Fortress, who ran very well at Churchill, and her one and only start in this country. If she repeats that race, she's going to be tough. That race was back in November, so she certainly has time off. If she runs that number, Sherry DeVoe, Louis Sayers. But there are other horses that are a point or 2 away that certainly have chances, including Full Count Felicia, Ruby Nell, and Didier.
Chad, what do you think?
I don't see or hear Chad. Do you?
That's okay, I do.
Oh, okay.
Was with Omaha Beach.
How am I supposed to enter?
I don't know, but it's better than the opposite way, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay.
You there, Chad? We have to remind everybody, of course. Well, I don't think we have to remind anybody. We know where he is. So it is long distance.
He's in Dubai.
Go ahead,
Greg?
Chad.
John? Anybody?
No? Can you hear us,
Hello?
Chad? All right. Anyway, so the horses that you were looking at, John, in race number 10, obviously it's early as usual, but that 8 that Star Fortress had last time out, I know he's had enough time since November, but it is a pretty big new top, isn't it?
It was only starting this country. So,
Yeah.
you know.
He ran a 15 in his previous start, but yeah, that is that. So you got to take that into account, obviously. But he's 5-2, so it's not like we want that horse to win anyway.
No, but we're putting price horses underneath, like the 5 Full Count Felicia, the 6 Ruby Nell, who's 8-1, Full Count Felicia's 10-1, and Didia is 6-1.
Yeah, Didia 9, 10, 10, 10, last 4 starts. Fluffy Socks had an 8 last time out. With Red Ortiz and Chad Brown at 9-2. You don't like Fluffy Socks?
I don't think she's the same horse she used to be. By the way, when was the last time you've seen Chad Brown 0 for 30 at any track, much less Gulfstream?
Yeah, what's up with that, Chad?
Well, I have a working theory. So there's no turf works at the track he's stabled at Payson Park. And the turf course is closed till February, and I think that kind of is getting in his way. Normally, his turf horses breeze on the turf, and I think that's part of it. He's always kind of quiet in the wintertime, but like John said, this is unusually quiet for him. But he's got many runners on the day, and he's going to try and break out of the slump on Saturday.
Are they allowed to work at Gulfstream on the turf or no?
No, just on the poly track.
Wow.
You can work on the turf at Palm Meadows, and he has a barn at Palm Meadows, but he has not shipped anything in yet. As far as the race itself is concerned, I think Ruby Nell is certainly a very interesting horse, and Mandela's made no bones about it. He's putting her on the lead. He's telling you, catch me if you can, and is squarely putting the target on his back for international champion jockey Frankie Dettori with Ruby Nell. And they're going to come running. Look, I've watched Star Fortress breeze a few times in Palm Meadows. She's a nice filly. But obviously, look, she was just so in Europe. She was 1 from 7 in Europe, or 2 from 7 in Europe. So this is a big step forward. I know she won a small field on what was a very soft turf at Churchill. She's not going to get a soft turf here. She's going to get a firm turf course, and I think you have to play that as a 5-2 favorite. I think you can go a lot of different ways. I'm not singling Star Fortress on any of my tickets. Maybe she's okay and she breezes well, but I'm not sure that she's my pick. I'm going to try and beat her in here for sure.
What about a couple of long shots that seem to be trending in the right direction? They're obviously going to be having to have new tops in order to win the race, but at least they are heading in the right direction. That's the 2 Chili Flag, who has a couple 17s, couple 14s, couple 11s, has Pratt on board, another one of those Chad Brown horses, and Mission of Joy, the 11, 16, 13, 11 in the last 3 races. That's Velazquez on board. Do you give either of those two a shot for catching money, Chad, John, and any other long shots we should keep an eye on?
Well, I mentioned Full Count Felicia, who's 10-1, Ruby Nell, who's 8-1. I mean, these horses are prices. You know, Chili Flag, I don't like at all, and I don't like the other horse that you mentioned, Mission of Joy from the 11 post. Good luck.
I mean, the one horse that we're not mentioning here that I guess we kind of have to mention is the 8 Queen Goddess. I mean, she's the defending champion in this race last year. She defeated Full Count Felicia in California 2 starts back, and certainly they know how to win races. Mike McCarthy's shipped over here. He won the Pegasus with City of Light. He won this race with Queen Goddess last year. So, I mean, she would be one. I thought she was kind of tailing off, and she ran really well in the race the day after the Breeders' Cup in the Goldacova. Last time out in the Matriarch, it was kind of a weird race. Chad Brown was 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I'm willing to excuse it. She's got to win over the track. Tyler Gaffalione picks up the mount late after Chad Brown scratched, and he's riding as well as anybody. So I would think at 6-1, that's certainly fair odds.
Which Chad Brown scratched?
One horse that it didn't enter. It was, they always had the probables, and then she didn't.
Okay.
Excellent point as usual, Chad, because that win by Queen Goddess was a 9, And that was the only time Queen Goddess raced at Gulfstream Park. And the 9 is the best we've seen out of Queen Goddess.
But she's going to be short. She's not going to be longer than 7-2. Believe me, I don't think she's going to. I don't think
Queen
you get any
Goddess?
value with her.
Queen Goddess?
Yeah.
How is she going to be less than 7-2? It's a deep, deep field.
Okay.
First of all, First of all, Diddy is going to be lower than Queen Goddess. They're both 6-1 morning line. Diddy is going to be lower than Queen Goddess because
you're right. Okay.
Chad Brown, despite being 0 for 30, is still Chad Brown on Pegasus Day.
Yeah.
And Todd Pletcher's got 2 in the race that are owned by the commissioner. For some reason, I don't know why, but he did pay $1 million in November for surprisingly. I cannot answer why he paid $1 million for it. I mean, she's 20-1 in this race, but he paid $1 million and he's trying to get his money back in her first start back.
Good luck.
All right. So do you have an official pick, John?
Yeah, I'm going with the 4 over the 5, 6, 9.
5, 6, and 9. Chad?
I'm going to go with Full Count Felicia on top of Ruby Nell and Queen Goddess and Lydia.
So that's the 5 over the
6, 8, 9.
6, 8, 9. All right. Race 12, excuse me. These are the 2 big ones that we are going to get into here. Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational Stakes Grade 1, purse $1 million, 4-year-olds up, mile and eighth on turf. Again, race 12 should go off close to 5 o'clock on Saturday. And the favorite of the race right now is the 3. And also another co-favorite pretty much close by is Warm Heart, the 9 at 9-5. But the 3 is 3-1 Integration, and Gaffleone on board. Hasn't done anything wrong, John. 14 first start, 9 after that, 7 after that. All 3 wins. First time at Gulfstream. What about Integration?
He's fine. The only problem is the price. I mean, like you said, he's never done anything wrong. He's 3 for 3. He certainly could be the horse to beat, but he's going to be short. He's going to be a short price. He will be the favorite here. No, maybe not. Maybe they'll go for Warm Heart, who ran very well in the Breeders' Cup to get beaten next. So he's probably the horse to beat.
I mean, this is where the rubber meets the road here. First of all, Integration could be anything. Okay, his 3 wins have all been dynamic, sensational. I feel like Walt Frazier calling a New York Knicks game. I mean, every superlative you can give, you would give to Integration. But it's come against the lighter race company. It's come against straight 3-year-olds. He's never run against older horses yet. They controversially made a jockey change, taking Kendrick Carmouche off and putting Tyler Gaffleone on. Kendrick was not happy about it. You're messing with the racing god. Sometimes you never want to mess with the racing god. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. And look, I think it needs to be mentioned here about Warm Heart. So she's a filly, okay, running against the boys. And this is a common thing that takes place in Europe. Obviously, she could have run in the filly and mare turf, but they thought that the race was shorter. She wants to go a little bit further, which this race is a little bit further. Aidan O'Brien historically has not run much in this race. And the reason for that is the European season is over. This is a dead time for them. There's not really winter racing. The winter racing they have is on all-weather tracks. You're not going to see kind of stake races or anything like that. It's just kind of the couple of horses just getting legged up. So this looks like it was a little bit of a surprise. We weren't sure if we were going to see her. We weren't sure if she's going to be retired after the Breeders' Cup. This is a very interesting decision to come here and target this race and possibly then start the year going on to run in the Dubai Turf or run in Saudi, or retire her after the race. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts here. But Warm Heart, like you mentioned, John, her last race is heads and shoulders above the rest of this field. I mean, Integration is the unknown, but what is known is if Warm Heart runs that last race, unless Integration takes another step forward, Warm Heart's the winner. She's heads and shoulders above this field on what she's accomplished so far.
All right, as far as some long shots, what about the ones I'm the most interested in, and maybe I could make some money with one of the 2 of those top favorites would be the 4, the 6, and the 11. The 4 being I'm Very Busy, and Irad Ortiz Jr. Chad Brown combo, getting better pretty much from the first start to this last start, which was an 11, from 16 all the way to 11. The 6 being King Max, a 12-1 shot. And if you just take a look at the 3 turf races, 11, 10, 8. 8 was the last time out in that grade 2 race. And the 11 being main event, Castellano on board, 10-1. Couple of 9s in the last 2 races, including in that grade 2 Fort Lauderdale race, winning the last 2 races, winning 3 out of 4 at Gulfstream Park. So those are the 3 long shots I'm interested in. You guys have any you're interested in, John? What about those 3?
Actually, King Max is going to be my selection only
Oh.
because the horse is 12-1, ran the 8. Why not? Obviously, the 9's the horse to beat, and like Chad said, no one knows how good the 3 is. So I doubt the 3's making another forward move because at this rate, he'll be running a 0 in his next 2 starts if he keeps making those forward moves. So eventually, they have to go backwards. I think that's going to be the case. I would use the 3 only because I'm king and 12-1 shot and King Max.
Look, I mean, a couple of things here on your horses, Greg. One, with I'm very busy. I mean, integration is. I'm very busy. The springs hit a turbo max button on the engine or something. I'm very busy. Doesn't look like he'll ever beat integration. So it's tough for me unless I say, okay, integration's a freak, and I'm very busy can run second again. But I can't see any kind of scenario right now where I'm very busy reverses the tables. It wasn't like you can make much of an excuse for I'm very busy or anything. Integration was just a better horse on the day. When you talk about King Max and main event, they come out of the same race. And Javier Castellano, who I do feel like got snubbed out of not being an Eclipse Award finalist, he gave a great ride, but he was able to walk the dog in front, and he was just kind of loose on the lead. I don't see that happening here. So he's a really cool horse, but of the 2, and I agree with John that I do like King Max, who I actually thought was a winner when they crossed the wire. I mean, that was a very exciting finish, and he had to run the harder race of the 2 with David Egan and the irons, and I thought he ran a great race, and I can definitely see him taking a step forward here at big odds. But I'm going to give you a couple of prices here that are big prices that shouldn't be. Starting with the 2, Jerry the Nipper.
He had a horror trip last time. We bet him last time. I loved him. But he always finds trouble. I love that horse last.
He does manage to find trouble, but they stick with Jose Ortiz, which I thought was a little bit of a surprise. I thought maybe they would make a rider change. He comes out of the King Max, the King Max. He comes out of the King Max main event race where he was actually sent off, I believe, as the favorite, and just had a horrid trip. Took back, fought with him, this and that. I would expect him a big move forward at 20-1 on the morning line. I can definitely see him hitting the board. Cheryl Spite, the 10 horse at 15-1, always seems to run a big race for Roger Radfield. Was a little bit of a tired horse, I thought, in the Breeders' Cup, but had gone to Hong Kong and Dubai and kind of traveled around the world last year. Now has been able to just kind of be in one place for a little while since the Breeders' Cup down in Florida. Always a cool horse. Luis Saez always seems to fit this horse very, very well. He might have lost a step at 7 years old, but at 15-1 to play on the underneath, he's definitely a horse that I would be interested in. And then the unknown is the 8-horse Masterpiece. And this is a horse that was with Saffie Joseph in Florida last year, transferred to Rick Dutrow. Rick Dutrow had a few licensing issues, so it's going to run in his brother Chip Dutrow's name. You see the S. Dutrow, that's Sydney Chip Dutrow. Chip's in California. Chip's never seen this horse, I don't think. Chip's worrying about White Barrio. But regardless, it's going to run in Chip's name. And they've been waiting to unleash the beast, per se, with this horse. He was originally, when he got to Dutrow's barn, he was supposed to run on Belmont Stakes Day. And he ended up missing some time and came back, and he ran a really good second in allowance race. He was awful in the Arlington Million, but that Colonial Downs, that was a weird track. I forgive that. Came back and won the Red Smith like a good horse, and has been pointing for this horse ever since. Now, Rick Dutrow, the trainer of record, said he's very comfortable at home. He didn't want to move him too early. And so he actually, as of January 22nd, he had his last work in New York. The question is, how much time did he miss? Because training in New York, I can tell you, we haven't had the best of tracks. We've had some issues with the tracks along the way over the last month with weather concerns. How much has he missed from that? And then how fit is he, and then how does he take the ship? It's a big ship from New York to Florida, but it's also easier for horses to go warm to cold than cold to warm. So that would be my concerns with Masterpiece. But I will tell you that Mike Ivorone will probably not be wearing a shirt.
All right.
For sure.
So, John, you're going to go with the 6 over.
3, 7, and 9.
Okay. Chad?
I'm going to go with the 9 Warm Heart. I'll take her over the 3, 6, and 2.
3, 6, and 2. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with the 3, and I'm going to throw those long shots in there, the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 11. All right, let's now move on to the big race out of the entire big card at Gulfstream on Saturday, and that is the 13th race, 1 1/8 miles, the Pegasus World Cup Invitational Stakes, Grade 1, purse $3 million, 4-year-olds and up. This should go off about close to 5:45 on Saturday. And you know what I want to start off with, and usually I try to start off with the favorites, and we're going to go through the field because it's a really nice field. But I have to start off with the most obvious one that I have to wonder about here, John. It's the one that sticks out. It's the easy one that sticks out.
Helen Keller selection, the 6.
Well, Senor Biscuit, obviously, yes. Love the fact that Senor Biscuit is back to being a long shot. But the 4, Hoist the Gold, at 12-1, running a 6, 7, and 6 in the last 3 starts.
Yeah, the only problem is this is 1 1/8 miles. The horse has never been this far. That's the biggest concern. I mean, he's a sprinter. I don't think he's, I know he could be bred to go long, but when you have 26 lifetime starts and you've never been the distance, to me, that's negative. Especially when I can get Senor Buscador, who's 20-1.
Sure.
The horse is only 12-1.
Yeah, those are a couple of interesting ones there. The favorite of the race, and again, this is what a 12-horse field. So the favorite with a couple of favorites, we have National Treasure, the 7 at 9-5. We've got the 8, the 7-2 shot, First Mission, and you know what? That's it. That's why it's a really good betting race. So what about those two? We'll start there with First Mission, the 7-2 shot, the 8, and the 7 National Treasure, 9-5 shot. John, what about those two?
Which two?
National Treasure and First Mission.
Well, First Mission at 7-2. I know it's Cox and everything else, but that horse, I know they love this horse the last couple of times, but he really disappointed last time out. He had no excuse to lose, I don't think. I don't know. Out of all those horses, and National Treasure, he's 9-5. Yeah, he could win. It's Baffert and everything else, but he's not better than a lot of other horses in the race. That's what makes this a great betting race.
Yeah, and National Treasure is clearly better than First Mission as far as the sheets are concerned.
Yeah.
Not even close. Chad?
Well, where do you start? Okay, so National Treasure became endearing in everybody's heart because he had a hard lock second running at his home track, getting beat ahead by Cody's Wish. But the last time a horse got beat ahead by Cody's Wish in the Breeders' Cup and came back as the favorite in the Pegasus, he severely disappointed in Cyberknife. So just because you're on second to Cody's Wish, it doesn't make you the winner of this race. National Treasure is a very, very, very inconsistent horse. He was very good in the Preakness. He was so-so in the Belmont. He was very good in the Breeders' Cup. Look, he's okay. I thought he tripped out that day. I thought he got a great ride that day. I don't look. Gulfstream plays to National Treasure's capability,
running style, right?
But at the end of the day, to me, if First Mission runs in the Preakness, and granted he didn't, if First Mission ran in the Preakness, we were all in on First Mission. So in a heads-up battle, I'm going to take First Mission over National Treasure. Where the ceiling is on First Mission, I don't know. I agree with John. His 2 starts back since the layoff have been disappointing. I mean, the sheets didn't lie. When it was funny because I think, what did he get, a 16, John, when he won the allowance race at Keeneland?
Yeah.
So he got a 16, and everybody goes, whoa. I mean, this horse is supposed to be the best horse in the Brad Cox barn. And then he backed it up. They go, oh, it's okay. It was first start back. He's going to run the Clark. And then he ran. What did he run in the Clark?
I think 10.
So he moved up. Somehow he moved up 6 points. I don't know. It didn't look like he ran 6 points better. But I mean, he was second best that day. Trademark beat him to the wire.
On the square.
And there was talk about the blinkers or this or that, whatever. But they don't make an equipment change. So we'll see what happens. This is very much the prep race to go to the Dubai World Cup. This is their plan. He's ticked every box to make it here. But I mean, and I do like First Mission over National Treasure, but I'm gonna try and beat First Mission here on the day. I mean, the numbers aren't lying, and he needs to take a huge step forward because I mean, it's gonna take a single digit to win this race, and he hasn't done that yet, has he, John?
Nope.
Well, he's got a 9.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah, that was in April. That was in the Grade 3 Lexington win.
The only problem is you may need a 6 to win this race.
Well, let's run through it. The 1, Nimitz Class, an interesting long shot. The trainer changed to George Weaver, who so far is off to a nice start at Gulfstream. You're getting 20 to 1. Before the 15, you did have a 7, even though that was at Parks. And you've also had a couple of other 7s this year and 2 6s to start the year. I know it's not on the premier tracks, but still, 2 6s and 3 7s on the season for the 20 to 1 shot Nimitz Class, John.
I don't like him here. I think these horses are much better than the horses he's run against. Listen, he has an impressive record. He's hit the board 16 times out of 21 starts. The only problem is I think this field is a little tougher than horses he's been facing.
Look, I try to buy it since February. I mean, I do like this horse.
George Weaver bought him? Did George Weaver buy him or they just changed barns?
No, they bought him after the last race, with this race in mind, thinking that the Pegasus was going to come up light. I think when he's run against really, really good horses, though, he's been outclassed. When he runs against his kind, he's a superstar. He's a Mid-Atlantic superstar. Winning races like the City of Laurel, the Robert Manfuso, the John Campbell, all those races, the Harrison Johnson, those are cute races.
Yeah, but look, he gets beat at 5 cents to $1. 30 cents to $1, 60 cents to $1. He's a beaten favorite every week.
The race that they fell in love with him about was when he won the Parks Dirt Mile over Gunite. Okay. Now, Gunite didn't show up that day. Gunite probably doesn't want to go a mile. I mean, Gunite's probably a sprinter. He ended up running in second in the Breeders' Cup. He's a sprinter. I think this horse is a little bit outclassed here.
But let's just keep in mind, though, you're obviously spot on with your analysis as always. The horse is 20 to 1.
Yeah, okay. There are other 20 to 1s.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, again, as we said, is a really good wagering race. A lot of good, interesting long shots. So let's go to number 2, O'Connor at 8 to 1. Back-to-back 8s coming in. Both wins in Grade 3 last time out at Gulfstream was one of them. 2 wins out of 5 at Gulfstream for O'Connor. Safi Joseph trained horse, John.
Problem with him is he's not 4 years old. He's 7 years old. So when you run 2 8s as a 7-year-old, it's got to take its toll.
But look, John, he's Chilean bred. So look at it more from being a 6-year-old than a 7-year-old because he's probably born in September, October. So it's a very short window.
He's okay. He would have to be a pro. He's okay. He's okay.
I mean, look, I've always dreamed of a horse winning the Pegasus World Cup being by stallion Bobo Man. So I'm glad we have the opportunity with O'Connor. Look, his last 2 races are where they need to be. Now, he was freshened up to win the race at Keeneland. He was freshened up to win the race in December in Gulfstream. This is back a little quick for, like you said, John, maybe it's an age thing, maybe not. When he runs with more spacing between his races, he seems to be a little bit better. But he has now paired races, which we have not seen all of last year when the barn was waiting for him to pair races and he would have a good one, a bad one, a good one, a bad one. So which O'Connor do we get? Do we get the one we've seen the last 2 starts or do we get the one that we normally see when he runs back on short rest? That's the $3 million question. But you are getting fair odds at 8 to 1. I wish Tyler Gaffalione would have been aboard him. He's been aboard the last 2 starts, really fits him well. Disappointed to not see him back on the horse, but certainly Paco Lopez is a jockey that knows how to get it done. And maybe O'Connor, he needs that little strong finish. So, maybe Paco is that jockey. And, Paco's won a lot of big races, but I don't know that he's won a race like this. And I know he gets a lot of wrath because he's a very aggressive, rough rider sometimes. But he's a good jockey at the end of the day. He's won a lot of races and doesn't get a lot of credit. So
definitely don't have a choice between the 2 and the 12. They're both Safi Joseph horses.
I think he was committed to riding Skippy Longstock.
Okay.
All right, so that's O'Connor. Now let's move on to the 3 Dynamic 1. Second start since September 22nd, 2022, excuse me. And that was the last start, which was the first one since September of 2022. He ran an 11 at Gulfstream Park. That was a pretty weak appearance, but it was, first race in a while.
You ran 11 that day?
Yep, ran an 11.
Jeez.
Ran a 6 in July of 22, so that was when the horse was peaking. But the next
gave him an 11.
That's all it was.
He should have got a 31. He was terrible. He was awful. Listen, he shouldn't be in this race. I can't believe he's on 11.
He has no shot. He's too slow anyway. I mean, 11 won't get you anything.
Nobody's not supposed to get an 11. That race. Where did he finish in that race last time?
Fifth. 7 lengths.
Yeah. What did the winner get? A 2?
I have no idea.
Who won the race? Who won the race? It was an allowance.
Picking up something.
No. Pence up. I don't know.
Picking up
the pieces.
The pieces?
Horse got an 89 Equibase. He got an 11? Wow. Not for me. I'm sorry.
No, it's not for anyone, even if you're looking at sheets.
So what happened to the horse, though? Because, they spent some money on him. You got Pletcher, you got a Red Ortiz Jr., so what happened to the horse?
This was the curse of Shug McGahee. He's the first horse of the Phipps family doesn't have with Shug McGahee. So they sold the horse and stayed in for a piece. Look, he's been fine. He's made some money, but he needed some time. He needed some time off, and he came back. He came back trying to make this race, and he was terrible. And they marched forward. But I thought the race was awful. I'm shocked that he got an 11.
Okay.
I'm curious when we get off the air. I'm curious if you can find out what the winner ran that day. Because apparently he ran against Secretariat.
Okay. Whatever.
All right. The 4 is the horse I mentioned, Hoist the Gold, and the 12-1 shot with Velazquez on board.
Just quickly on Hoist the Gold. This is a horse another one that I've tried to buy for a long, long time, and actually had a deal in place to buy him in September. John Velazquez thought after the Breeders' Cup Sprint that the horse wanted to stretch out. And it was John Velazquez's idea to go to the Cigar Mile. And he was rewarded. But if we remember, and Jonathan remembers very, very well, it was a speed favoring track. John Velazquez is a Hall of Fame rider for a reason. He's one of the best of all time. Took advantage of the circumstances. And even though Gulfstream plays this way, I don't see him in the top 3 early on, John, right? I mean, National Treasure and the others are faster. So, I mean, it's going to be a different tactic. Although I will say this, for whatever it's worth, for our international fans out there, his international rating, Hoist the Gold, is higher than anybody else in the race. He's rated 116, which actually has him getting an invitation to the Saudi Cup right now. Well, a lot of horses like Skippy Longstocking and others are rated lower. So the international market thought the Cigar Mile was very, very good. I'm going to pass on Hoist the Gold.
Okay. Next up is Trademark, 15-1 shot, coming off the win, a nice upset win in the Clark, the Grade 2 Clark at Churchill Downs, running an 8. Did run an 8 in June, followed that up with a 7 in the next race, and that was pretty much, matter of fact, he's only had one bad race in the last several months. And what about Trademark? You are getting 15-1, John.
He has a shot. He's got plenty of time since his last race. He's never run at Gulfstream. So let's see what happens. I guess it depends on price. A lot of this has to do with price, and if he's really 15-20-1, I could see using him somewhere underneath. I don't think he's good enough to win.
Are his races, John, on the numbers, are they better at Churchill than anywhere else?
Yes,
is he just a little bit of a Churchill horse? And with that being said, the Churchill track and the Gulfstream track, even though some Florida Derby runners have run well there, it's very, very different kind of track. And I don't know that Trademark is the horse for course in this one. But the races he won, and the second in the Lucas Classic when we beat him on the wire, he travels very, very well in the front. Like, he's good. He's very good, and he's very tactical. But this is a big ask. Look,
we lost him. Oh, he's back.
The teams owe nothing.
Did Chad freeze, Greg? Or?
Well, now he's frozen. You there, Chad? All right. Chad, just let us know when you pop back. It's because we've hit a really interesting horse. Senor Buscador. The 20-1 shot. Getting 20-1 with Senor Buscador. And this is a horse that has not had a bad race in a while, sheet-wise. Matter of fact, the last 3 races are all 8s. Before that, back-to-back 6s. As far as the 2023 season, the worst sheet number is the 10. That was a race at Santa Anita in the Gold Cup, the Grade 1 Gold Cup. Hasn't won since the San Diego Handicap. That was when he ran a 6 at Del Mar. West Coast for a while, but this is the second East Coast race now in a row. Hasn't raced since December 2nd in the Cigar Mile Grade 2 race, finishing second to Hoist the Gold.
Yeah, by the way, the day he ran, he's coming out of the race with Hoist the Gold. He came from 50 lengths out of it on a day when you couldn't pass a horse. Not only that, I mean, the horse is steady and consistent. And give credit to Todd Fincher because he brought this horse here a while ago, and he's been training over the track, and obviously he's been pointing for this race. I mean, what's not to like about this horse if you get any sort of price? He's steady, he's consistent, he never runs a bad race, and he's 20-1. You know, this is what you have sheets for, horses like this. We lost Chad, but that's my analysis on the horse.
All right. So until Chad gets back, we still have horses to get John's opinion on. We've already talked about National Treasure and First Mission. So let's talk about Grand Aspen, an 8-1 shot. That's the 9 horse. Pletcher Ortiz combo. Back-to-back 7s, including a second at the Grade 3 race at Gulfstream Park. First time at Gulfstream for Grand Aspen. John.
Yeah, he was beaten by O'Connor last time out, the 2 horse in this race. He beat him on the square, you know. Grand Aspen really had no excuse that day. He got beat on the square by O'Connor. So I guess if you like Grand Aspen, you certainly should like O'Connor.
Chad, are you back? No.
So,
Yep. Is that you, Chad?
I hear him.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, we can hear you. All right, so go back to what you were saying, and then because the next horse we were talking about was Senor Buscador.
Look, he's a cool horse. Dennis Means has been traveling with this horse around the world, going from New Mexico to California to New York to Florida. Seems to be training well over this track. Always going to come with his patent late run, but has the feeling of a bridesmaid rather than a bride.
Oh, okay. Hey, by the way, I found out who the horse was. Picking Up Pennies. Safi Joseph, trained horse. That was the horse that won the race that Dynamic One was in that ran an 11.
Okay.
You
We
wanted to know?
spent way time on that horse, but go
Now
ahead.
you got it. Okay. We also talked, by the way, Chad, about Grand Aspen, the 9, because we've already talked about the 7 and the 8.
He was good last time. Grand Aspen was very good last time. I thought he ran as good a race as he possibly could, and it's good to see those Silks back around again. That's Michael Paulson, son of the late Alan Paulson, of course, of Azeri fame and Theatrical and so many others. Not Theatrical, but so many others. Cigar.
All right. The 10 is a long shot, and so is the 11. The 11, Krupi's coming off an 8 last time out. The 10, Il Moracolo, has 3 9s in his last 5 starts. What about those 2 horses? Any long shots there, John?
No, I mean, they look a little slower. Krupi ran the 8 last time out, but it looks like he's going to react off of it. He never puts really races together. I don't like either one of them.
Il Miracolo, when he won the race at Parks, ended up in the grandstand almost. So I'm very interested in a 12-horse field. What's going to happen with Il Miracolo? Krupi intrigues me. The thing that bothers me about Krupi is that why is Irad Ortiz riding Dynamic One and not Krupi? He's obviously first call rider for Mike Rapoli, the commissioner, self-appointed. And I don't understand why he wouldn't be on Krupi, because to me, Krupi's the better horse coming out of a better race. He looks like he's starting to figure it out. This was a horse that was running in graded stake races as a maiden because they thought so highly of the horse. They liked the horse enough that they named him after the late great horse breaker, J.J. Krupi. It would be fitting for him to win this race. He sold many, many top horses at the 2-year-old sales at Gulfstream when it was over there. I think Krupi is live at 20-1, and Frankie Dettori, he might fit this horse better than people think. I like Krupi here at a price. I really do.
Okay. Now we've got the 12. Skippy Longstocking, Safi Joseph, Gaffleon combo at 8-1. Last 5 races, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8. So that's good. Coming off a third at the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile in November. So a little bit of time off for Skippy Longstocking, John.
Yeah, but he's got a very tough post position to win from. When you're drawn outside there at 1.16 and 1.125, you're in big trouble usually. You have a little bit of a longer run, but he's got to lose ground. I mean, he has to lose ground.
Yeah, he wants to lead, right?
No,
not at all. No,
Okay.
He's not getting the lead in this race.
Chad?
I haven't liked what I've seen from this horse in the morning time. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I've watched him get outworked in the morning time by a few horses. I'm gonna take a stab against him. He was 7th in this race last year. I know that they think he runs well fresh. That's why they've skipped. They haven't run him since the Breeders' Cup. I'm taking a stab against them. It's not for me.
All right. John, what are you going to do?
6, Senor Buscador. Whatever you
Hey!
do, make a winning place bet on him for sure, anywhere over 10-1. And if you're playing exactas, 6 with 7, 9, and 12, first and second. 6 over 7, 9, and 12.
All right. John going broke with Senor Buscador. Chad.
I think Bobo Man gets it done. I'm gonna go.
I don't
with
hear
O'Connor.
Chad. Can you tell me who he gives out so I can write it down?
Go ahead, Chad.
I'm gonna go with O'Connor, the number 2 horse, on top of the 8 First Mission and the 11 and 9. So I think it's Sappy Joseph on top of Brad Cox, and Top Fletcher will run third with one of the horses. Not dynamic.
All right.
Who did you give out?
He went with 2, O'Connor, over 8, 11, and 9.
Okay.
And I am going to go with the 9 over the 1, 2, and 6. So we've completed our Gulfstream card.
Pegasus card. Our Gulfstream Pegasus.
Gulfstream Pegasus card. The next big day for Gulfstream is going to be Florida Derby Day?
I guess.
On a youth day.
What's that? Fountain of Youth Day. When is that?
Well, Holy Bull comes up first. The Holy Bull, we should see the return of Forte. So actually, that's the next big race.
All right. So you see, this is when things get.
Not Forte.
What's first, the Florida Derby or the Fountain of Youth?
I'm sorry, Fierceness, not Forte. Fierceness. It goes Holy Bull, Fountain of Youth, Florida Derby.
Greg?
What's that? Oh, Holy Bull, Fountain of Youth, Florida Derby.
Okay.
And
Bull is next.
And our next show, our next card that we'll be talking about will be February 3rd. You've got 2 grade 3s at Aqueduct, including the Withers and the Toboggan. And then you have Gulfstream Park, another good card. You have 4 grade 3s, including the Holy Bull. So you asked for the Holy Bull, you got it. That's coming up. Next.
Chad, good luck tomorrow, Chad.
And by the way, it's a huge card at Santa Anita as well in 2 weeks with 4 graded stakes races. So a lot of.
We don't have 5-horse fields. It's fine.
Hey, don't forget, January 29th, Monday is the deadline to move your horses if you're Bob Baffert owners.
All right, Greg. I'll see you, Chad. Good luck. I'll talk to you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
Be well.
What were you saying, Chad?
So January 29th, Monday is the line in the stand that Churchill says they have to move Bob Baffert's horses if they want to qualify.
Oh, for the Triple Crown? Okay.
Yeah, not for the Triple Crown. He can run in the Preakness. Only.
Oh, it's for the Derby.
Only for the Derby.
And how long is that going on for?
I don't know.
All right, so so when we talk next week, we'll actually have some news there that'll be worth going over.
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent. Good luck, Chad.
Thank you very much.
And when are you coming back? You still don't know?
I'll be at the Pegasus on Saturday.
That's the first step. Okay. Thanks, Chad.
16-hour flight on Saturday morning.
Yeah, we'll for one step at a time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. How are you going, guys?
Take care. All right. So let me go ahead and run through what we did here today. Again, thanks to Chad for taking his time out, almost 24 hours away from a huge race over in Dubai for his horse Clapton. Race number 10 at Gulfstream, Jon went with the 4 over 569. So that was Star Fortress, the 5-2 shot, coming off an 8 last time out. Big top there. But it was November. More than enough time to regroup, bounce-wise. Chad went with the 5 over 689. So he went with the 10-1 shot, Full Count Felicia. Full Count Felicia in the last 4 races, 12, 12, 8, and 11. 10-1 shot, Full Count Felicia. Again, 5 over 689. Excuse me. And the 2 horses that I'm just going to try to make a play for, long shot wise, are Chili Flag, the 2, 20-1 shot, and the 11, Mission of Joy, the 10-1 shot. All right. Race number 12. Jon went with the 6 over 379. Jon went with the 6 King Max, a 12-1 shot. So actually, Jon went with a couple of long shots here in the last 2 races. King Max, a 12-1 shot, coming off an 8 last time out. Last 3 races on turf, 11, 10, and 8. That's King Max, the 6 over 379. Chad went with the 9 over 362. And I'm not sure if Chad, I should ask Chad if he's, that's like an order. Or, because if it's not, then it's 236. But he's got 9 over 362. The 9 being Warm Heart, that's the Aidan O'Brien horse at 9-5. And my top play is Integration. And I'm just not going to run away from the perfect sheet line. What's also great about this is you got 14-9-7, and you also have Maiden, win, Grade 3, win, Grade 2, win, and now's a Grade 1. So this horse has just been perfect so far, and I'm not going to run away from perfect. And I'm trying to make some money. So therefore, if I'm going to take the 3, I'm going to throw in long shots, and those long shots. Oh yeah, I'm just looking at something. Those long shots. Where am I? There it is. Are 2, 4, 6, 11. Jerry the Nipper. I'm very busy. King Max, and Main Event. All right. And then finally, race number 13. Jon went with the 6 over 7-9-12. Senor Buscador. Now, Senor Buscador, and I've made money off of him. I'm sure Jon probably has too. So, but it's been a while, so I think it's time. Maybe Jon feels that as well. It's time. It's time for Senor Buscador to cash us some money again. So we'll see if he can do that. That's Jon's top play over 379. Chad's going with the 9. Excuse me. Wait, I'm screwing up there because Jon's got 2 6s in the last 2 races. So he's got the 6 over 7-9-12 in race number 13. And again, 6 over 7-9-12. Chad has the 2, and that is O'Connor. And he's got the 2s. And O'Connor's got back-to-back 8s coming in. Both wins by a neck, as you can see on the form. So Chad has the 2 over the 8-11-9. 8-11-9 or 8-9-11, but Chad has 2 over 8-11-9 in the big race of the day, race number 13. And I'm going to go with the 9, kind of like just a switch over between O'Connor and Grand Aspen. Those are really the 2 best horses I liked. So Chad went with the 2. That's why I'm going with the 9. And I'm going to go over 1, 2, and 6. So I'm going to throw in Nimitz class as a potential long shot. And definitely go with Senor Buscador as well. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Don't forget, you can follow Chad's Clapton. This is going to be about 11:25 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, Friday. race number 6, horse number 6. You can catch this on YouTube and TVG, I believe. So you can check that out. And good luck, big good luck to Chad and Clapton for many reasons. Best of luck to Chad in this race. And then we'll be back again next week for a huge Saturday on February 3rd when we have tons of races to choose from. I mentioned you got the Withers and the Toboggan at Aqueduct. You also have the Gulfstream Park races, the Holy Bull at the top. You have a few other grade 3s in there. Oakland Park has a grade 3, the Southwest, a few other stakes races. Santa Anita has the Santa Monica, that's a grade 2, and 3 grade 3s, including the Robert B. Lewis. So but even Tampa has a couple of grade 3s. So we're starting to get there. Things were a little slow. They're not slow any longer. And we've got a lot of, by the way, we had the bonus race today. And we usually throw out the bonus race when there's just a deep card, but we also throw the bonus race out there. We wanted to do that again because of the fact that the past 3 or 4 weeks, the races haven't been very good. We went two weeks without any picks, almost 2 full weeks, I believe. We did have the 2 special shows, which are available, of course, either Patreon. They have now been posted on YouTube as well. Don't forget, if you're a YouTuber and you have yet to subscribe on Patreon, it's very simple. It's $5. Check the link in the description area. $5 a month. That's it. You want to try it out for a month, cancel, you can do that. $5 a month. You get everything we say, 100% of everything we talk about, including the fact that you get it early on Thursday, which is 90% of the time, 95% of the time we record on Thursdays. Otherwise, if you wait for YouTube, sometimes we don't post at all. And then sometimes we'll post for 2 or 3 straight weeks. And then sometimes we'll post, but we won't post the entire show. So there's a lot of different things going on there. And but for $5 a month, you get everything. So best of luck. Starting tomorrow on Friday with Clapton. And then, of course, on Saturday's card. And we'll be back again next week. We have some really cool things that we have planned for this year, by the way. So, including, I know we talked about this a little bit last year, but including me traveling to New York at some point in the summertime and following Chad around with my camera, which I'm just looking forward to. So we couldn't do it last year. It was just too many things going on. It was just, but this is going to be the year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But we got a ways to go before we put that together. And we hope that you'll be back here again soon. Don't forget, you can leave a question or a comment. And if you're on YouTube, and our new, of course, YouTube channel, Horsepower, which is also called Horsepower PSN. So if you're on our YouTube channel, please subscribe, share the video, like the video. All that stuff is very important for our growth on our new YouTube channel because we don't really post a lot of stuff now on Prime Sports Network. I still post on Prime Sports Network, even though we have the other channels, individual channels, including the horse racing channel, Horsepower. But we want to grow these individual channels because that's all it is, horse racing. That's it. So this way, if you're just a horse racing fan, you don't have to worry about getting notices for all sorts of other sports that you don't even care about. This way, hey, man, I subscribe to this horse channel, and I know that anything that comes out on YouTube, I'm getting it from these guys. So anyway, that'll wrap it up. Best of luck to everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.